Welcome everyone to Abhidhamma study, class 12. We will learn Unwholesome and Wholesome courses of action, part 2 today. Today is Wednesday, the 30th, 2022. We are here in the Pacific time at 4:30 p.m. So today our agenda is we will open with Namo Tassa. We already have the revision and discussion before Bhante arrived, so we have done with that. And then Bhante will teach us Abhidhamma Lecture, and then we will close with the from the live streaming, and then we will continue into the question and answer and the aspiration and sharing merits on Zoom. There will not be any live streaming during those time. Without further ado, Bhante, please lead us with Namo Tassa before we start the Abhidhamma lecture. Thank you so much, Bhante.
Okay, let's start by paying homage to the Buddha, reciting Namo Tassa 3 times together. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa.
Thank you so much, Bhante. Bhante, please teach us Unwholesome and Wholesome courses of action, part 2 today. Thank you so much, Bhante.
Okay, let's start our today's study about the courses of action. Usually we call it the Kamma-pata. Kamma-pata. Kamma usually understood as a cause to produce the result. So according to the Buddhist teaching, Buddhist way of understanding about the nature, cause and effect relationship. And due to the system, the beings are running around the samsara. So there are 2 types, wholesome cause and unwholesome cause. Unwholesome cause produce the life in the woeful state. And wholesome cause, wholesome karma, produce the life in the blissful plane of existence. So this also based upon the 31 plane of existence. That's why I explain about the 31 plane of existence as a beginning of the Abhidhamma lecture. So when we study Abhidhamma, many based upon this kinds of explanation. That's why we have to start from the 31 plane of existence. So in the 31 plane of existence, the beings are born. The beings are born due to the karma. So only the karma can produce the life. Without karma, there is no life. So after that, we should know about the karma. As the existence are divided as a woeful state, lower state, abhaya, 4 states, and the others, including the human, Deva and Brahma, they are recognized as the blissful plane of existence. So in this way, if we can classify in this way good and bad in the plane of existence, there must be the cause, specific cause to be born in this plane of existence. Then we can find wholesome and unwholesome courses of action. So unwholesome courses of action give rise in the woeful states, and wholesome courses of action give rise in the blissful plane of existence. So if you understand, if you keep your understanding in this way, it becomes clear. Cause and effect relationship based upon the cause and effect relationship. This is main teaching of the Buddhism. As long as there are the cause to give the result, they will produce the result. And then the result in the samsara, if they produce the result in the samsara, we have to be running around in the samsara. So finally, through the practice, correct way of practice, development of the Noble Eightfold Path, we usually emphasize with the right, the Samma, so Samma Ditti, right view, etc. So if we follow the right path, and when we attain the enlightenment, we can cut off the potency of karma. So akusala karma we had done in the samsara, along the samsara, also cut off by the mega, the power of mega. They cannot produce anymore. Although they have been done already, but their potency are removed by the power of mega. At that time, they cannot produce the life in the awful state anymore. In the same way, the wholesome karma have the potency to produce the blissful in the blissful state, plane of existence. But after cutting off by the power of mega, they also cannot produce the life anymore. In this way, Buddhist way of life, Buddhist way of practice, accomplished by culmination of the mega, the attainment of mega, because the Arahata mega, at the stage of Arahata mega, cutting off all the potency of the karma to that can produce the life in any existence, then the life cycle is finished. So this is a background on concept to study about the wholesome and unwholesome courses of action. Then not only producing of the life, the karma have the potency to produce the result during the life, during the course of existence. It is called the bodhi karma. After rebirth moment, good and bad condition, good and bad situation, we call the results. The resultants are produced by the karma as well. But that karma is called bodhi. What's it called? The bodhi resultant karma, because the karma can produce the resultant in the life, during the life or during the course of life, after rebirth until that moment. So in this way, we have to understand about the karma and their result. So for the karma, we already classified two types, akusala karma and kusala karma. So according to this explanation, only when the karma come to the course of existence, come to the level of the course of existence, which is called karma pata, they can produce paṭisanti. So paṭisanti is the very beginning of the life. If paṭisanti is produced, we can understand the life is produced. That's why the karma pata are the main cause to produce the life. If there's no more life, the other karma also have no opportunity to give rise, to give their results. Bodhi vipaka cannot be possible without life. So in this case, we are talking about the causes of karma, karma pata, and they mentioned in the Sutta teaching and Abhidhamma Lecture 10 types of unwholesome causes of action, akusala karma pata. Those karma can produce the life in the awful states. So if we want to, if we don't want to be reborn in awful state, we have to apply this karma in the karma pata level at least. Then other side, on the bright side, for the blissful plane of existence, the wholesome kusala karma, kusala karma pata are explained as the opposite of the akusala karma pata. But it's also can be considered as the not completed yet, because just the opposite of the akusala karma pata, only 10. And the others, dana or the other bhavana are also not mentioned there. And that's why with the assistance of the understanding about the Punya Kriya Vatu, 10 bases of meritorious deed. So we conjoin with the learning to complete the wholesome karma. So if someone practices the giving or donation, dana, this also can be the cause of the blissful life. So although it mentioned the kusala karma pata and akusala karma pata in the specific number, actually there are some other modes on karma to be born in the life by the performance of the specific action out of the 10 kusala karma pata. So today we will continue as a second part of the wholesome and unwholesome courses of action. So here we have introduced about the Punya Kriya Vatu. So 10 bases of meritorious deed and their consciousness. So at the moment of the action, we can recognize as through the action what he is doing. But in the process of mind, so it's specifically mentioned that 8 wholesome consciousness. So the action is done. Here the dana is done, any of the 8 wholesome consciousness. So here you see the 8 sense-pure wholesome. Sense-pure means kama vachara. So kama vachara, kusala. But we call this kama vachara because these consciousness mostly arise in this sensual sphere plane of existence. Kama vachara bhumi, we call that. So you may remember how many kama vachara bhumi? Can you answer?
7.
Yes, 11. Right. Thank you, Nell. Right. Yeah, 11 kama vachara bhumis. So these consciousness, 8 consciousness, mostly arise in the kama vachara plane of existence. That's why they are called the sense-pure wholesome kama vachara kusala. But the other also can be possible in other plane of existence also. But okay, so in this case we will talk about the roots here, because the Asian consciousness roots. So roots, non-greed, non-hatred, and non-delusion. If there are 3 roots, we can say jnana samyutta, because non-delusion equivalent to the jnana, same as jnana. So there is the root of non-delusion that is recognized as the jnana samyutta associated with, that's why associated with knowledge. Then if sometimes the consciousness arises without the root of non-delusion, so by the absence of non-delusion, we can understand it is not associated with knowledge, jnana. That's why that is recognized as the jnana vibhuta. So 10 meritorious deeds, except the bhavana, are done by the 8 sense-pure wholesome consciousness. While in the mental process, one of the 8 sense-pure wholesome consciousness arises, then the actions are done. So for the bhavana, it can be possible for the sublime consciousness, so jhana. So not only sense sphere, it can be possible the development of the jhana in the process of mental development. Okay, so to understand this, because we didn't study about the wholesome consciousness, we just already discussed about the wholesome consciousness. So in order to understand the wholesome consciousness and to be able to consider about the consciousness, not only unwholesome. So we need to study the 89 consciousness or 121 consciousness in large. So if we talk about the brief enumeration is only 89. If we talk about the large enumeration is 121. So here the akusala is at the bottom. In this cell, akusala, unwholesome. So we already studied the lobha mula, dosa mula, moha mula, altogether 12 unwholesome consciousness. So in the 89 consciousness, not only akusala, the other types of consciousness are also enumerated here. After that, number 2 group is ahituka, rootless consciousness, 18. But so here in the rootless consciousness, 2 groups are divided into 3 groups, and 2 groups are resultants. So resultant produced by akusala karma is called unwholesome resultant. So there are 7 types, and resultant produced by the kusala, wholesome, is called the wholesome resultant. So kusala vipaka. So it is simple. So the resultant, if it is produced by akusala, is called akusala vipaka. If it is produced by kusala, it is kusala vipaka. So in the second group, both can be found. So akusala resultant 7, wholesome kusala resultant 8. After that, the functional, the kiriya. So as we have said, the functional is just the action. It cannot produce any resultant. And also, it is not produced by any karma. So this is just functional. So altogether, 18 consciousness are called ahituka, rootless. In this lesson, we just want to introduce the 89 consciousness in brief, and we will emphasize on the kusala and akusala, because we are talking about the kusala karma and akusala karma. Okay, then for the number 3 group, so altogether 24 consciousness divided into 3 evenly. So kusala 8, vipaka produced by kusala in this case. Vipaka is produced by kusala 8, and kiriya functional only is 8. Altogether 24. These are called the beautiful, but still sense sphere consciousness. That's why sense sphere beautiful 24. So in this case, sense sphere consciousness can be divided into 3 groups: akusala group, ahituka group, and sense sphere beautiful, kama jara savana. So if this is beautiful and the other 2 groups are not beautiful, 1 and 2 group, akusala and ahituka, are not beautiful. So we will study this consciousness process later, but just introduction here. Then after sense sphere consciousness, then rupavachara, 5 material sphere consciousness, because as we have divided planar existence into 3, sense sphere, rupavachara, and the 5 material sphere, after the arupavachara. So in the same way, the consciousness are also divided into 3, but actually 4. And so up to 1, 2, 3 groups sense sphere consciousness. And number 4, 5 material sphere consciousness. These are 15 in number and divided into 3. So kusala 5, the resultant of kusala 5, the functional 5. In the same way, arubhavachara is only 12, divided into 3 groups. The kusala 4, resultant 4. This resultant also produced by the same kusala, the specific kusala, and functional 4. Then the last group, Lokuttara. So up to the Arubhavachara, those consciousness are connected to the specific plane of existence, sensual sphere or 5 material sphere or immaterial sphere. That's why they are, because they are the logia related to the life existence, plane of existence. They are called, on the other hand, they are called the mundane consciousness, logia 81 altogether. So since Kamavachara is which is called sense-sphere consciousness, 3 groups altogether 54. And Rupavachara 15 and Arubhavachara 12 together are called the logia consciousness. And the last group, Lokuttara, so it's going beyond or transcending the mundane, the plane of existence. They are called Lokuttara. Path consciousness, wholesome, which is recognized as wholesome, mega, and fruition consciousness, kala. So become the Lokuttaras 8. Then Logia 81 and Lokuttara 8 become the 89 consciousness. Okay, don't worry, we will study again this collection, because we need to study again and again to keep in our mind. So all the time we can use, we don't need to look back the table and the books again after studying in this way. So several times we will repeat this chart. Okay, so what we want to emphasize is here, some are resultants. You see the green color resultants, the marks are resultant. And some are wholesome, here, wholesome. And some unwholesome, red color, 12. So in this case, if we count the number of the unwholesome, so altogether among the 89 consciousness, only 12 are unwholesome. So number 1 group only. In the other group, you can find their wholesome, resultant, and functional. But you cannot find akusala in any other group except the number 1. So only 12 are akusala, and for the wholesome, so because of wholesome, for the second, akusala is the cause, and wholesome kusala is another cause. So we should know among the 89 consciousness, how many can be a good cause. So cause in the good side. We know only 12 akusala. So wholesome, altogether 21. Yeah, the number is 21. So we can search in the table how many, where in which group, how many kusala can be obtained. So let's see. So Kamavachara kusala is this kusala that can produce the result in the sense sphere beautiful. That's why this is called the Kamavachara kusala, usually produced, and mostly arise in the realm of sense sphere plane of existence. This is called the Kamavachara kusala. So in number it is 8, and wholesome Rupavachara 5, Arubhavachara 4. So altogether 17 in the logia. So because in number 1 and 2 there is no kusala. In number 3, 4, 5, you get the wholesome 17, and with the mega 4 altogether, wholesome cause can be 21. But for the mega, it is supramundane. It just produces the phala as it is result. That is why Magga is not included as a karma. You see that for the karma, we will count it only 17. Yeah. Kamavachara, kusala, rupavachara, kusala, arupavachara, kusala. Okay, you have to take a note of this 17 wholesome. What are the 70 also you have to remember? Lokiya, right? Lokiya only, not Lokuttara kusala is regarded as karma. Because it just produces the fruition, is out of the loka. When we talk about the karma, that produces in the plane of existence. So we perception. Wholesome consciousness, if we left behind the Magga, we get only 17 kusala. So that will be kusala karma. So here, wholesome kusala, sincere kusala, kamavachara kusala produce its own result. Yeah, the karma vipaka. It is vipaka. And also, rupavachara kusala has its vipaka, identical types. And arupavachara kusala also have its vipaka. So it's very clear in this way, if we try to understand, to match with the specific consciousness of wholesome and resultant. Wholesome produces resultant. But in the number 2 group, here, number 2 group, 2 types of vipaka can be found. Akusala vipaka 7 and kusala vipaka 8. So, okay, it's clear that akusala vipaka must be produced by akusala. So akusala only number 1 group. So number 1 group and akusala resultant, cause and effect. Right? Cause and effect. But here, the rootless wholesome resultant, there's a question. Which kusala produce the resultants? This resultants. Because in above mentioned the group, in above the group have their specific resultants. The only thing is for the rootless wholesome consciousness. But the answer is that the wholesome consciousness, sincere wholesome consciousness, can produce ahituka kusala vipaka, the rootless wholesome resultant. So we can understand wholesome consciousness, sincere, beautiful, wholesome consciousness. This is this one, this group, number 8. It can produce the 2 group of resultants. The first type, the same as it is types, identical with itself. And vipaka here, 8. And also, ahituka vipaka, also produced by the kamavachara kusala, because same sharing the same plane of existence. Both are kamavachara. So here kusala 8 produce the 16 resultant. The other we understand the same. So in this way, it becomes easier to understand about their cause and effect process. Okay, so keeping this information, and we will go back to the slide we have shared. Okay, now let's count how many types of karma? How many types of karma here? For the sincere karma. So unwholesome and wholesome. Unwholesome, only 12. 12 unwholesome consciousness can be regarded as karma. sense-sphere karma because they are under the 54 sense-sphere consciousness. Then 8 only. So altogether 12, altogether 20 kinds. So 12 unwholesome and 8 wholesome are sense-sphere karma. So now we are human beings under the enumeration of the sense-sphere plane of existence. So for our life, which one is produced? We have to consider that. So, but if unwholesome consciousness, being a karma, is produced, that will be in a woeful state. A human is blissful plane of existence. That's why we can understand any of the 8 wholesome consciousness being the karma produce our life, already produce our life. Okay, so now 20 kinds of sense-sphere karma. Let's see that. So if we talk about the karma, the name of the Jirana, translated as volition, we have to talk about that. So consciousness is consciousness, but the consciousness associated with the volition, because the volition is manifest, always accompany the consciousness. Whenever the consciousness arises, the volition, Jirana, arises. There's no consciousness that arises without Jirana. All 89 or 121 consciousness are associated with Jirana. We have to keep this information. So Jirana always associated with consciousness. That's why whenever consciousness arises, there must be any Jirana, the manifestors of Jirana. This is Jirana, volition is manifestors. So how many manifestors altogether? Do you remember? Altogether, how many manifestors?
There's a total of 52 mental factors.
Okay, good. There are totally 52. Yes, among the 52 manifestors, 7 are universal. It means whenever consciousness arises, 7 associated with it, means 7 come together with the consciousness, every type of consciousness. The Jirana is one of them. That's why all consciousness are associated with Jirana. Okay, later on we will discuss the or Jirana arise or not. Okay, one information, the very basic information, Jirana is always arising with consciousness. And consciousness, every consciousness are accompanied by Jirana, manifest as Jirana. Okay, so if we can have the 20 sense-sphere consciousness as unwholesome and wholesome, we can have the 20 manifestors, because different types. Akusala also different types consciousness. So accompanying manifestors or Jirana also can be differentiated into 20 types, because they have the different consciousness to associate with. Now we can say the 20 sense-sphere karma. So the usage gradually developed. If we call the karma wholesome and unwholesome, okay, in the sense-sphere consciousness, there are 20. So if there are 20 consciousness, the associated manifestors of volition also classified into 20 types, and they are called the 20 sense-sphere karma. Okay, so classifying into 2 types according to their ethical qualities. So unwholesome consciousness is called the unwholesome causes of action, unwholesome karma. So 12. And wholesome in the sense-sphere case, 8. So equivalent to the 10 base of meritorious deed. So because we are taking the large group, large counting, if we just say that Karma Pata only is very narrow. That's why we take the 10 bases meritorious deal. The Karma Pata are also included here. Okay, when you are performing the 10 bases of meritorious deal, the wholesome karma is arising. When you are performing the unwholesome causes of action, 12 unwholesome karma arising. After karma have been done, it will produce the result. Okay, so let's continue another slide. Okay, when after having done the karma, that it produces result. So resultants also can be classified into two types: Paṭisandhi Vipaka and Paṭi Vipaka. Yeah. Paṭisandhi Vipaka, Paṭisandhi is vipat linking. That's why resultants at Paṭisandhi, at vipat linking. Vipat linking is the very first moment of the life. Then Paṭi regarded just after the vipat linking until the death moment. So here, you can check in the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma, page 207. The characteristic of full course of action is being the karma with the potency to take on the birth generating role. You see, that's why what I said that only the full course of action can produce the rebirth linking consciousness and also the life. Then, if it becomes full course, it will produce the rebirth. If it is not full course, it will produce the result in the in or during the life, but not at rebirth making. It's said. But here, this handbook or Abhidhamma study here. This is written by the Venerable Sayadaw Silananda Biwansa. So it's quite large. But all are explained. There are explained many information about the Abhidhamma. So we also share this work already. And in this slide, so two resultants, two types of vipaka, cause akusala karma and kusala karma. And also kusala karma, divala karma, by material sphere, kusala karma, immaterial sphere, kusala karma in this way. Kusala karma divided into according to the plane of existence. But akusala karma only have in the sense sphere plane. Okay, let's see to understand more about the karma. So here karma, what is mean karma? As I said, the volition, tirana, which is called mental factors. So mental factors that arise with their unwholesome and wholesome roots are called the karma. But with the resultant and functional are not called karma, although we can find the mental factors of volition, tirana, arise with the resultant consciousness and functional consciousness because it is associated with all types of consciousness. That's why although we can find the mental factors of volition with the other types of resultant and functional, they are not karma. Only the mental factors of volition associated with unwholesome or wholesome consciousness is called karma. Referring to this karma, this mental factors of volition, the statement in the Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, here, Panchaka Nipada. Number 63. That the Buddha said, Chidanahambi translated as that it is volition, bhikkhu, that is called karma. So karma refers to volition, the cause of action. And because Chetana is the cause to perform the action by body, speech, and mind. So the Buddha said, Chetana Chitayetwa Kamman Karoti Kayena Vajaya Manasa. So this is heaven will want act. So for the action, the Chetana motivates. That's why the volition and is referred as karma. So the volition of wholesome and unwholesome are called the karma. That karmas produce the patisandhi and bodhi with two types of vipaka. In this way, during the life, beings are performing any of the action, either unwholesome or wholesome. They are performing in daily life. After that, they become after perform the action, they become the karma and produce again two types of resultant and become the life. In that life also, he performed the karma, then continue another life. In this way, the karmas continuing and resultant process also continuing. In this way, the life cycle is running around. Okay, so here, let's see how the mental factors of volition arise in wholesome and unwholesome karma. So this is the common arising of the consciousness. Here, consciousness. And if the consciousness associated with the unwholesome mental factor, we can recognize it is unwholesome consciousness. According to the mental factors and according to the others condition or the function, etc., we can recognize what types of consciousness classify one to another. So here, consciousness. I see that, okay, here greed, lobha, hatred, dosa, and delusion, moha. Okay, so this is akusala, because the root are akusala root. But this is the, in this case, you see the many mental factors, but in actually, the lobha and dosa, they are not arising together. But I just want to mention the wholesome mental factors in the same slide. That's why I put all together. Then in the inner cycle, you see the context, feeling, perception, volition, one-pointedness, life faculty, and attention. These are 7. We call the universal. So every consciousness, they arise together. But the others are different color, initial application, etc. The 6 are occasional. Sometimes they come together. Sometimes they absent. They absent. But here, among the universal, you see the volition. Because this is akusala, seeing the rules, we say that this is akusala consciousness. That's why the volition karma, it is akusala karma. They arising together and passing away together. A group of mentality, consciousness and mental factors together. Among them, the volition has the role of karma because it has a potency to it has the power to keep the potency in the process to produce resultant later. But the others feeling just arise and disappear. And contact also arise and disappear. But the mental factors of volition also arise and disappear. But before it disappear, it make the function of storage, function of storing the potency to produce good and bad. This is called karma, the system. Okay, then let's see another slide. Okay, for the beautiful. So when the beautiful consciousness arises, for example, the wholesome consciousness. Here, the wholesome consciousness arises at the moment. As you see, the universal mental factors and the occasional, they arise together. Among them, the volition also arises. That volition is called the kusala karma because the other associated mental factors are good in to make the beautiful. So here, faith is saddha, mindfulness, sati, etc. And right speed, right action, right livelihood, etc. So seeing these and the root wisdom faculties, among them, the 19 here, 19 mentioned here. And among the 19, You can see the aloba adosa here, non-greed aloba, non-hatred adosa together. So aloba, adosa, and wisdom faculty equivalent to amoha. So these are beautiful because they have the beautiful roots. This consciousness is beautiful. So we can recognize the volition also, the beautiful volition. But among them, the wholesome karma, kusala consciousness arises at that moment, the volition arises together. And it makes the action of storing the potency to produce in the future. So that's why this volition is called karma. So we get that two types. Unwholesome karma that arise together with the unwholesome consciousness. Wholesome karma arise together with the wholesome consciousness. But when they arise, they are called volition. These volitions are called karma. Okay, so for these mental factors and then how they associate, don't worry, we will understand and in the future lessons. We will discuss more about them. And in this case, I would like to emphasize the volition is arising in this way, along with the wholesome and unwholesome consciousness. They are called karma. Okay, if we count the karma and the rebirth linking called Paṭisandhi, all together. So that's why to understand this slides, I introduced the 89 types of consciousness. Okay, so altogether 90 consciousness are regarded as rebirth linking. So here, rebirth linking consciousness, 19 types. Then, so you may not understand all in this case. And 2 types of investigating consciousness accompanied by equanimity. These are included in the Ahituka group. But they can be the Paṭisandhi, rebirth linking. That's why they are included. Then the others become easier. For the sensual beautiful, we have counted the 8 resultant consciousness. That is Paṭisandhi. And for the 5 material sphere, Rupa Vajara, we have counted 5. And immaterial sphere, we have counted resultant 4. So 17 are resultant. The resultants are called the mundane resultants. So mundane resultant produced by the mundane consciousness. This is the Paṭisandhi. Paṭisandhi rebirth linking. On the other hand, we can say the beginning of the life, produced by the consciousness. Here, if we say types of rebirth, rootless rebirth, sense sphere, beautiful rebirth, and 5 material sphere rebirth, immaterial sphere rebirth. Okay, so for the being in the sense sphere plane of existence, altogether 10 rebirth consciousness. This is the all resultant consciousness. You see the all resultant consciousness. 19 are performing the function of rebirth linking. So Paṭisandhi at the moment of very first moment of our life, they are called rebirth linking. They are produced by the specific types. Okay, so let's see. After understanding the resultants, rebirth linking. Here, the cause are unwholesome, 12 unwholesome karma. So karma, if we talk about the karma, you have to remember the jidana. Volition arises with the unwholesome. So unwholesome resultants, 7. As I said in the former slides. And then sense sphere 8 produce how many resultant consciousness? So 16, right? The same as the same types, sense sphere resultant with roots and rootless group also I said. Then the others 5 material 5 produce 5 resultants, immaterial 5 produce 4 resultants. So altogether, how many resultants? Here,
32.
32 resultants, right? So 32 resultants, they are called the mundane resultants. So both at the moment of Paṭisandhi and during the course of existence, these are all together. But for the Paṭisandhi moment, we already counted in the former slide, 19 only. So for the Paṭisandhi only with 19. For the all case, Paṭisandhi and Bodhi 32. If we search for the cause, their cause, we get how many causes? In this case, how many causes?
29.
29, yes, okay. Yeah, only 29 here. So 29 means there are unwholesome 12 and mundane wholesome 17, if you want to memorize in brief. So you have to know what are the mundane wholesome. So since sphere wholesome, 5 material sphere wholesome, immaterial sphere wholesome, in this way, there are 17 mundane wholesome. So with the unwholesome becomes the 29 gamma. So let's conclude some number. For the cause, 29 gamma. For Paṭisandhi, how many? 19, right? 19 Paṭisandhi. And for all cases, how many? Including Bodhi?
32.
32. Okay, these are resultants. So they have the connection. By this connection, we are running around in the samsara. We have to know them. If we don't know how we can change our way of our destination, you know. Okay, so gamma is 29, but here rebirth in the 31 plane of existence and resultants during the course of existence. This is the name, and then for the ultimate reality, we will say about the consciousness. So 19 in the Paṭisandhi, here rebirth. This equivalent to 19. The resultant equivalent to altogether 32. Yeah. So this gamma produces 2 types of result. And rebirth and the result during the course of existence and good and bad resultant of the life. Okay. So, okay, this is just counting the wholesome and unwholesome gamma, but here, unwholesome gamma have the only sphere case. There's no other 5 material sphere or immaterial sphere unwholesome. Only unwholesome is 12, and only in the sphere plane of existence. Then wholesome sphere 8, 5 material 5, immaterial 4. Here you see the wholesome but not gamma. Because the mega, the potency of mega supramundane wholesome, it has the power to cut off the process to run it around the samsara. If the mega is not cutting off, we cannot escape from the samsara. That's why when the mega appears, the power of the mega, it cut all the potency to produce that produce in the life. Yeah, this is the wholesome and gamma. Wholesome, unwholesome, and gamma. We have to understand. Okay, almost finished. Okay, so this is akusala. So akusala consciousness, when the akusala consciousness arises. So here, the first one is somanasa sahagata, detigata sambhyuta, asankharika. They are one type of consciousness. This is one type of consciousness and associated by the mental factors of volition. Yeah, this volition and second volition different because the consciousness is different. In the same way, each of the 12 unwholesome consciousness associated with mental factors of volition, then we get the 12 types of volition. because the power or difference. In the same way, if we continue counting the consciousness up to the 89, also it will be 89 volition, different types. Among them, how many become the karma? How many are recognized as karma?
20.
Among the 89?
29.
Yes, of course, there are 29 is a karma. So without the power of 29 karma, we cannot continue the life. So which means that only the power of karma driving. So that's why they produce the resortants, and in the process, the functional arise. Then the mental process is keep going in this way. Okay, so now we understand the wholesome causes of action, unwholesome causes of action, and the consciousness at the moment we perform the wholesome causes and unwholesome causes of action. Also, we understand. For the development of mental development, bhavana, among the 10 basis of meritorious deed, it can be sense sphere wholesome, sometimes can be 5 material sphere wholesome if you practice the jhana level. Then sometimes immaterial sphere, so they are still karma. After achievement of the jhana also, you will reborn. If you cannot cut off by the mega, you will reborn in the Brahma realm by the power of jhana. And jhana karma associated with jhana. And the beings will be born in the Brahma realm, still in the rebirth cycle, samsara. Okay, so I'm going to stop here my explanation about the wholesome and unwholesome causes of action. So in the future lesson, we will continue about the consciousness following the Abhidhamma Sangha, the next consciousness, rootless consciousness. We will continue about that. Okay. Sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, 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 Bhante.
Okay.
I'm going to close with this. So to anyone who are watching us on YouTube, you can join us as we are about to end our live streaming. We will go into question and answer right now, followed by sharing merits and closing with Metta. So thank you for joining us today. And we wish you be healthy, happy, and peaceful. And may we all realize Nibbana.